We're going to dig into a really fascinating question today. How can you guarantee a critical part, say on an airplane, won't fail without actually having to break it to find out? Well, the answer lies in the science of hardness, and we are going to break it all down.
Just a quick heads up before we get started. This explainer is part of our bigger series called the Blueprint Program. If you're interested, you can check out the entire curriculum over on our YouTube channel. All right, let's get into it. So, let's start with a classic engineering problem. Picture this. You've just made a crucial component for a jet engine. You have to be absolutely 100% certain it's strong enough to handle some pretty incredible stress. The question is, how do you test its absolute limits without destroying the very part you just made?
The solution, believe it or not, comes down to understanding the massive difference between two words we tend to throw around like they're the same thing: hardness and strength. In everyday conversation, yeah, they're pretty similar. But in materials science, they are worlds apart.
Okay, let's start with strength. I want you to think of strength as a material's total, all-out resistance to catastrophic failure. It's a property of the entire object. How much force does it take to literally pull it apart or snap it in two? That's its tensile strength. Hardness, though, is a totally different kind of fight. It's all about the surface. We're not talking about breaking the whole thing anymore. We're talking about its ability to resist localized damage, a dent, a scratch, some kind of focused impact. It's about winning the battle right there on the surface.
This right here really nails the distinction. Strength is about resisting a complete break of the whole part. Hardness is about resisting a dent on the surface. Strength is measured by pulling it apart. Hardness is measured by pushing into it. And that difference is absolutely key, because while they're not the same thing, we're about to find out they are deeply, deeply connected.
So if hardness is all about what happens at the surface, how in the world do you measure it accurately? Well, it turns out that all the fancy engineering methods pretty much boil down to two really simple ideas. You either scratch it or you poke it.
First, we're going to look at the oldest method in the book, the scratch test. And then we'll get into the much more precise method that really defines modern engineering, the indentation test. The poke test. The classic scratch test is the Mohs scale. You probably ran into this in a geology class at some point. It's just a simple 1 to 10 ranking based on one very simple rule. A harder material will always scratch a softer one. So down at the bottom, you've got talc, a 1, which is so soft your fingernail can scratch it. And all the way at the top, a perfect 10, you have diamond.
But, for high-stakes engineering, a simple does it scratch isn't going to cut it. You need numbers. And that's where indentation tests come in. The idea is actually really elegant. You take a super hard tip, called an indenter, you press it into the material's surface with a very specific known amount of force, and then you just measure the mark it left behind. Think about it. A tiny little crater means the material fought back. It's very hard. A big crater means the material gave way pretty easily. It's softer.
And this one simple principle, poke and measure, is the foundation for the specific tools engineers rely on every single day. So let's take a look at the three main indentation tests that are really the backbone of modern manufacturing.
So first up is the Brinell test. This one uses a hard metal ball to make the dent, and after the force is off, you get out a microscope and you measure the width of the crater it left. It's a really solid, reliable test for general purpose stuff. By the way, if you're getting something out of this breakdown, do me a quick favor and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue the Blueprint program. Okay, next we have the Rockwell test. This one is the absolute workhorse of the factory floor, and that's because it is incredibly fast. Instead of having someone measure the width, the machine automatically measures the depth of the poke, so it gives you a hardness number instantly. And finally, you've got the Vickers test. This one uses a tiny pointed diamond pyramid, which makes it perfect for super precise work, like testing the hardness of an ultra-thin coating or even individual grains inside the metal itself.
And now we get to the real heart of the matter. We've established that hardness happens at the surface, and strength is about the whole object. They're different. So why is it that in most metals, they're almost perfectly connected? Well, the answer isn't on the surface. It's deep inside, at the atomic level.
This is the central mystery, right? How can a simple poke on the surface tell you with any confidence how much force it would take to rip the entire part clean in half?
The whole secret comes down to something called dislocations. Imagine the atoms in a metal are all stacked in a perfect repeating crystal grid. Well, a dislocation is like a little mistake in that grid. It's like a tiny wrinkle in a rug. When a metal bends or gets dented, what's actually happening is that these atomic wrinkles are moving. They're sliding through the material's structure. And this is where it all clicks. Tensile strength, the measure of how much force it takes to break apart, is really just a measure of how hard it is to move those atomic wrinkles across the entire material. And hardness? It's a measure of how hard it is to move those exact same wrinkles, but just in a tiny area right there at the surface.
So here's the big takeaway. The reason they're connected is because both properties are fighting the exact same atomic battle. They're both measuring the material's fundamental resistance to letting those little atomic imperfections move around. One test is global, one is local, but the underlying resistance they're measuring is exactly the same.
And this brings us all the way back to our original problem. This deep atomic connection is what gives engineers an incredible, practical tool that honestly feels a little bit like magic. So, this is how it all plays out on a real assembly line. An engineer takes a finished part, performs a super quick, non-destructive hardness test that leaves a mark you can barely even see. They take that hardness number, look it up on a standard conversion chart, and bang! They can tell you the part's total tensile strength with amazing accuracy. They have just confirmed the strength of a critical component without ever harming it.
So that leaves us with one last question to think about. Now that you know the intimate connection and the critical difference between these two properties, if you were inventing a brand new material, would you focus on making it harder or making it stronger? And what do you think the trade-offs might be? Thanks for watching.